Shelley Winter Show. You on it tonight, Trent. Good stuff. Good stuff. So they're starting to call President Trump Eddie Mush. For those of you who don't know, one of the greatest mob films ever, A Bronx Tale. My favorite. I can watch that movie 1,000 times. My favorite. I mean, true mob film was A Bronx Tale. Of course, The Godfather's there, but The Godfather's the original. So, for me, it's the original. So Bronx Tale is to me, it's better than Casino. It's better than The Lot. Bronx Tale is just such a classic movie, such classic lines throughout. And Eddie Mush was the schlep rock, the bad luck charm, the loser in the Bronx, in that neighborhood. So they're all at the track, and they took a horse, and the horse is leading, and they're all jumping up and down, and here comes Eddie Mush down the steps of the track starting to cheer with the same horse, and they just rip up their tickets and walk away because they know if Eddie Mush bet on them, that horse was a loser. And they're starting to call Trump Eddie Mush. And here's why. When the Ryder Cup lost to Europe, he was there. When the U.S. team in the Ryder Cup lost to Europe, he was there. Showed up to the Knicks, to Madison Square Garden. Knicks was on a win streak throughout the playoffs, and they lost Game 3. He was there. He was there when Commanders, going into the playoffs, this hot Commanders team with this hot rookie lost to the Lions. He was there. In the Super Bowl, he predicted the Chiefs to win. They got blown out by the Eagles. He was there. And then last night, the whole Balogun making a move with FIFA. And then the American team goes down 4-1. 4-1, it was never close. They got blown out. That's a soccer blowout. 4-1, for those of you who don't follow soccer, 4-1 is a soccer blowout. And they're saying that Trump is Eddie Mush. Now, I don't believe in these kinds of things, but I bring it up for this reason. I really do. Because this is, this show we talk about, people always ask me, hey, Shelley, you have a talk show. What do you talk about? And I say everything. But a lot of it all comes back to politics, right? I try and stay, talk about everything, but a lot of it comes back to politics. I bring up the Eddie Mush analogy with these L's that our president has taken with the sports going on with different sports. And, of course, we're fitting the round peg into the round peg hole. We're fitting it in. We're making our point, or I'm making my point by fitting it in, right, and telling you all the sports things that have happened that have gone wrong for the teams he's either picked or the U.S. teams. In the case of the World Cup and in the case of the Ryder Cup. But I do it to make this bigger point. If I'm running in Georgia right now, July 7th, now the economy could change between now and November. I don't see it as likely. I don't know if it can that quickly. Hanging on the stock market, the performance of the stock market is not something that resonates with voters, because the stock market broke records under Biden too, and the economy was still bad. So talking about the stock market is not the thing that resonates with everyday voters. Even though many of them may have 401k plans, that's not something that they see immediate in their lives. Now, you can make it a talking point. You can make it a positive. But if you didn't make it a positive under Biden, you can't do it now. And that's the cynicism and hypocrisy that many of our young people see in a political world today. But unless the economy turns around, I've got to say this Eddie Mush, Trump kind of curse, if you will, can hang over candidates, particularly here in Georgia, that bring them into town for rallies. I'm just saying. It's July 7th. It's early. It's really early in this election cycle. But if prices don't come down, if people at the ground level don't feel better about the economy, I'm not sure that bringing President Trump, for a rally helps that candidate. Does it help you with the base? Absolutely, but the base is already going to vote for you. Does it help you with independents and moderates? Absolutely not. So the question for the Collinses of the world, the question has to be asked, and for the Jacksons of the world, the question has to be asked, do you bring them into town or do you wait? And if you are going to bring them into town, when do you do it? Do you do it as a closeout in late October? Maybe when the economy is a little better? Or does it hurt you to bring them in even then? That is the question. It's not like it was 2 years ago. It's not like it was before, where he comes into town and there's that many extra votes. Republican candidates have to pay attention and say, "Oh, do I really want him in town? I'm at the top of the ticket. Do I need him in town? Does he do anything for me outside the base?" That's the question that campaigns have to ask themselves. Because he could be the kingmaker, which he has been for a lot of people, but that's in primaries. We haven't looked at the general yet. That's only in primaries. And it stands to reason that you'd be a kingmaker in the primary. You're the head of the party. But how do you perform in the general? How does your endorsement perform in the general? That's the question that's not been answered yet because the votes haven't been tallied or taken yet. But are you Eddie Mush or are you a kingmaker? That's the question. 448-720-0750, 1-800-WSB.